Hi guys, it's Sophie. So today I wanted to talk to you about my Nanowrimo experience. So in case you don't know what Nanowrimo is, or Nanowrimo, I think it's what you're supposed to say. It's basically a month-long event in which you try and write 50,000 words of one single piece, or in other words, a novel. So I did Nanowrimo this year and sort of didn't go through the standard process of that one piece of a novel. That was my plan. Unfortunately it didn't work out all that well. I did achieve the goal. I wrote 81,000 words in 25 days. I stopped a bit early, but ended up writing 2 novellas and 7 short stories in that time. One of my pieces, the longest piece, is something called G Farm, and that did actually reach the overall total of over 50,000 words, so technically I completed a novel in Nanowrimo, although it wasn't all one piece. So that makes my 3rd completed Nanowrimo. I'm pretty proud of it, to be honest. I didn't really think I would manage it this year. I have so much else on in my life at the moment, but I did, and I overachieved again this year, so that was brilliant. My sort of overachieving goal was 75,000 words and I hit 81, so I'm happy with that. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about my pieces. I tend not to discuss them too much while they're still first drafts, but just briefly, one was a piece about a woman who was recovering after a sexual assault, but told through the eyes of a narrator who sort of forms almost a character within her life but is not a physical person, it's a narrator presence. That was fun to write, but quite difficult, and I'll see how we go when I kind of touch on the redraft. The second long piece was a third-person view through multiple characters' perspectives, which is kind of a ghost story. Again, I might talk about it more when I get to the editing stage, but for now that's all I'm going to say. I did manage to complete a number of short stories that I was quite happy with, on varying different topics, but it's been a while since I wrote shorts properly and it was amazing fun. I'm definitely going to try and get back into writing my shorts, sort of hanging on from Nanowrimo. And I actually wanted to read one to you today. So I've read some of them out to people, but this will be the first time that anyone's heard this story, but I thought it could be quite fun just to share a little bit of my writing and let you guys have some feedback from it for me, because it'll be a bit different, and since no one's read it yet, it will be exciting to have some feedback on a piece that I've not shared before. Okay, so some of the pieces I wrote when I was in Edinburgh, because I actually stayed in Edinburgh for a few days this month, and I based them on sort of shop names, which was a really fun exercise, and seeing as I was just sort of trying to find stuff to write, it seemed to make sense. So this one was Very Good & Co, Defence Lawyers, which I thought was just a brilliant, like, begging for a short story as a name for a company. Sorry guys, I just had to stop filming because my camera's looking really smoky at the moment and I really don't know why. I might have to get someone to look at it for me, but sorry, you're gonna have to cope with the quality being really weird for a minute or two. I became his advocate in 1993. After a particularly tricky familial law case. I didn't know that he sat in the stand that morning. I certainly didn't recognise him at first, concealed as he was in that long coat and horn-rimmed glasses. He bought me a pint of pale ale in the pub that afternoon, sitting beside me on the bar. "You lost," he told me, and I agreed. "I like that," he said. "You lost when you could have won." I nodded. "Now," he said, throwing his coat over the stool beside him, "I would love for you to tell me why you did that." And so I did. I spoke of the youngest son, the bite marks on his arm as dark as guilt, and the mother's trembling in the shadow of a man that she claimed to love. I told him how I knew there was a chance, as slender as the sun, that the man's mouth had never adored the child's flesh. He agreed. "And," he said, leaning closer still, "why did that make you decide to lose?" "The doubt," I admitted. "The benefit of the doubt." "1,000 mouths," he exclaimed. 1,000 teeth may have made that mark. And so you felt it may not have been the father?" I shook my head. "It was the father." "And you let him walk?" he said, tutting. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. He looked at me for a long while, his hand wrapped around his chin, before telling me conspiratorially, "You were either a very poor lawyer or a poor prosecutor. Are they not the same sin?" At this he laughed and handed me his card, as black as the night, with letters standing out in white as stark as stars. "V. Good & Co. defence lawyers. I raised an eyebrow at this, and he smiled, his teeth shining silver in the darkness. I believe, after all this time, I'm afforded the luxury of a few theatrics. I pocketed the card that night and thanked him. He waved away my offer of payment and proffered his hand in exchange. You shall buy me one the next time we meet. I agreed, oblivious to the deal we struck. I know now, through the cases of my once colleagues, that many crimes have been born in my defences and in the sharp wit that he taught me. He sought to show me how the worm of perhaps might eat into the sense of the jury, and cause 12 good men and women to decide to let monsters walk our streets. He taught me to forget it afterwards, feeding me that same pale insect. This aside, it is good work, honest work that he provides. I'm paid monthly, the same as you. For those who doubt, I tell you this. My employer may claim many things, but the one thing he never professes is to know the truth of an event of which he was absent or had no part in. The devil dwells in the benefit of the doubt, and so washes all of our sins into the gutter, where it truly belongs. So regardless of the story's merit, I had great fun, and I've had fun writing all of the stories that I wrote this year. It's just been a really lovely experience. It was a bit stressful towards the end because I wasn't sure if I was going to go for 100,000 words, so a double nano. I think I probably could have done, but the reality was I didn't want it to be negatively affecting other aspects of my life, and so I chose for this year not to go for the double nano and just to content myself with 81. Which is still, I know it's an achievement, and I need to accept that and know that that was good that I managed to do that, even if it wasn't quite what I aimed for. So that's been my experience of Nanowrimo. I will probably share a little bit more about the pieces that I am editing as I edit them. But hopefully you've sort of managed without me, and you've hung around while I've been away, so that's much appreciated. I've actually gained some subscribers while I've been away, so maybe I should go more often. But look forward to some more videos soon, because I've got loads of ideas that have been building up when I haven't been able to film and have been so busy writing. So I'll see you ever so soon, and goodbye for now.